So let's talk for for the new people here. This monthly recurring webinar is all about keeping you guys up to date with what's happening with the product. So today I'm going to talk about what we released this last month. We'll also talk about some of the new functionality that's going to be coming. And then just this is a great opportunity for you guys to also give us a lot of feedback. Tell us what you like, what you don't like about what we released. If there's things that we're going to be releasing that you want to give more feedback on, you have the opportunity to do that as well. This is the ability for us to really communicate outside of the Facebook group, which if you're not already in, go check out the Financial Sense user group. We use that to poll our customers and ask a lot of questions as well. Um, so that being said, let's jump on in. Let's talk about some of the new improvements we've made to workflow. So there's some small things that a lot of people have been asking. Well, they're small, but they're actually harder to do than it looks. But we released some updates. I like to say that these are more like usability updates with workflow that can help save you guys some clicks. So one of the big things is the ability to bulk download and bulk action project files. So if you have files so going back a few months, because this is related, I'll talk about this too. If your clients now upload documents, like this document will also automatically be added to the files tab here. So you can see it says this is related to a client task. So now it's just like it's automatically organizing it to the project files, which is great. But now that all the documents are living here, there's bulk actions that we just released that you can now do. Because before, you could easily, like download or copy it. But now let's say you want to move all the documents on this project to a client folder. You can do that. So you could bulk select the client file that you want to move it to and then move it to that folder. Or you can just download them all in bulk as well. But you don't have to go to the client folder and upload it because we have bulk actions for both moving to a client folder and downloading. So you now have that on the project files tab. You always had the bulk download on the client files, but now it also exists on the project files tab. Similarly, you also have this on the client task itself. So if a client uploads documents, you'll see now you can select or bulk select all the client uploads and then bulk download them or bulk move them to a specific folder on the client's profile. Again, so you don't have to download these files, go to the client's folder, and then upload all those files. So just some small changes that make the usability of documents that are coming in from clients and on the project easier to move around and easier to download. Looks like there might be some comments. Awesome, Lisa. I'm glad this is helpful. Um, Feel free to drop in feedback or thoughts if you guys have used this, if there's better ways we can do it. Always open to that. So we just talked about the bulk downloading for projects. We talked about the bulk downloading for the client tasks and the bulk moving. Those are two different things. Very important to notice. There's moving and there's downloading. Downloading is downloading it. Moving is moving it to a different folder on the client's profile. Um, Another thing, which we talked about last month, but it had just been released, so I'm going to talk about it again, is you now have the ability to make sections not recur or non-recurring. You can create non-recurring sections with the project. So for example, let's say I create a random like one-off to-dos, right? So you can add tasks. Like maybe these are tasks that you don't want to recur with this recurring project. This project is not recurring, so you're not going to see the ability to do it. But if I actually, let me go, make this recurring, to give it a due date, let's just do this. Okay. So now let's say like I just put like non-recurring to-dos in here and I don't want them to recur with the project. What you can do is you can make the section not recur so it won't recur all the tasks. So the section itself will still recur with the project, but these tasks inside of it won't. So that was an update that was something that we were getting a lot of people were requesting. So we added that recently. So that is a small update. Let me fix this project. Okay. So that was one thing to know. I'm going to delete this. Any questions about that? We don't have the ability to move files within the client chat yet, Jim, but we have that on the radar. Um, okay. So another big one, if you look in a project, you'll see this billing tab. You'll also see a billing section over here. So now on a project, you can set a dollar budget. You don't, before we had the ability to set a time budget, but now you can also set a dollar budget on a project. Um, and then you can track how much uh, you've invoiced against the project on the project. So basically, you can now associate invoices with the project. So you'll be able to click here. You can associate an invoice, a fixed. So before, when you bill off time, it would show, oh, you billed against this project. But now, what this allows you to do is to associate fixed fee invoices. So if you just invoice your client $1,000, you can associate that invoice. I could associate that $1,000 invoice to the project. So now it says the budget was $1,000, but we billed 1,250, right? And then you can also generate an invoice from here and associate the time tracked to the invoice from inside the project. And then inside the billing tab, what you'll be able to see is, your project realization. So you can see what the budget was. You can see how much was hourly, how much you actually billed. You can see your realization rates. If you factor in labor costs, associate labor costs to your employees, you can see labor costs, gross profit margins, and whatnot as well. So now you can associate fixed fee invoices for the project realization. So a lot of people that are billing on fixed fee, they weren't able to do the realization reports. Now you have the ability to do that. Um, and then also you have still and then you can invoice from here and you can associate dollar budgets as well. Looks like there might be some questions. We'll talk about the Google Drive Alice. Still in the works. It's still in beta testing. We ran into some people found some issues and we want to make sure we work through all the issues before we do a full public release. But I can talk a little bit more about that. Um, Fillable forms also on the timeline. I can't give you an ETA yet. I don't do ETAs anymore because sometimes they get pushed, and then when we don't hit the ETA, people get upset. But it is something that the team is working on. Um, um, is everything related to time billing? So regarding billing, is time entries you have to, so for the billing to associate with a project or a client, you have to bill through our system. If you bill through QBO, that information won't show up in our system. But if you bill in our system, we do sync it back to QBO. So if you create an invoice in our system, it will create that invoice in QBO. If you receive a payment in our system, it will create that payment in QBO as well. How does the project look on the invoice? Can a client see it? So if I go to this invoice, oops, yeah, see if this does that. You'll be able to now see associated projects over here on the invoice. So you can associate a project from the invoice, or you can associate an invoice from the project. So you can do it both ways. And when you do it, you'll see here. The client will not see the project associated to the invoice, but you could put that in the description. We have an ability where you can automate it to where the project names go in the description of the invoice. It's a invoice setting. So if you go to like the settings, um, there is a invoice preferences. It's in here somewhere. Customize time entry description so it can automatically input the project name. So you can do that. Ruth, you do not have to track time in our system to invoice. If you want to invoice off time, yes, you have to track the time in our system. If you want to invoice off the time. But you can also do fixed fee invoicing in our system without tracking time. I hope that helps. Um, no, you do not have to track time to see realization because now you can associate because like if you fixed fee invoice out of our system, you can see the realization rate still. Um, well, hold on, let me think about that. Let's go to billing. Let's go to reports, realization profitability. Um, I guess if you're doing fixed fee, it would be 100% realization. Um, and let me check with the team. When we get deep into the billing realizations, it does get a little complicated for me. Um, we haven't released a new interface for time tracking. But we did release a lot of improvements for time. So what we found when we talked to a lot of customers, it wasn't the design of time tracking they wanted. They just wanted more time tracking capabilities. So for example, I think it's in the settings, company. You have now time tracking settings where you can make certain fields required when tracking time. So that was a big thing a lot of people wanted. They wanted to require the notes, require the server side, require the tasks. So when someone's tracking time, they are now required to input some of these fields up here. Download all invoices. I don't know, Alice. I can ask the team about that ability to bulk download all invoices. Are we going to be able to add a recurring project to a recurring invoice automatically without manually adding the project after the invoice is generated? So basically, Robert, are you asking if you associated invoice with a project, if that project, well, I have to think about that because I think where it gets complicated, Robert, is if you have a recurring invoice and a recurring project, I guess you'd have to determine when each recur and then associate it after the fact. Let me ask about the team about that. You cannot associate time with a fixed fee invoice. Actually, well, you can associate with a specific fixed fee invoice. That is correct, Debbie. But in the reports, we do have the effective hourly rate. So if you have fixed fee for the client, you could see the amount billed, the amount of time tracked, and then like what is the effective hourly rate? And this is a way to see like your profitability for fixed fee clients if you're tracking time. So this is how we give you that, but you wouldn't be able to do it on an invoice by invoice basis. It would be on a client by client basis. Tony, I'll take that feedback. And Amanda, I don't know if you're in here collecting this feedback as well. If you are, let me know. Yes. So Dwayne, we don't have the ability to lock timesheets, but you have the ability to lock time entries. So if you're looking at a bunch of time entries, you have the ability to bulk select. There's only one here, and then you can lock those entries. so team members can no longer edit them. So you do have that ability. Um, Tamara, can you send? I don't know if you can reach out to support on. We'd have to take a deeper look at it. Like, why isn't a task in a project, but the project isn't appearing in billing? That would have, you'd have to reach out to support to take a specific look at that. I can't answer that question without knowing more. Craig, I'll talk about that one. Oh, Amanda is here. Awesome. Lisa, I don't know if I understand your question there. Like, is the billing feature now 100% sustainable NFC alone? Could you give more context? Yes, Debbie, you can invoice the client and not send them a notification. So in billing and settings, you have the ability to turn off the payment confirmation email. So basically, they will get invoiced, and then the PDF invoice will be in the portal, but they won't actually get an email saying, "Hey, you've been invoiced. Here's the invoice." So you can control when they see it. So this has come up twice. I would talk about it a little later. But so a lot of people really want the ability to view the portal as a client. They want this in certain areas too as well. They want it for client tasks. So when you're in the project, you can see what the client's going to see. They want to see it in the proposals as well. You want to see it for month end close. This is something we are working on. It won't be released this quarter, but I'm not supposed to give dates. The goal is to release it next quarter. Sorry, Amanda. I'm still working the habit. But so it is something we're going to be working on. But yeah, is it a top voted feature? So it's something we are trying to knock out sooner rather than later. Okay, perfect. So it looks like I got through all the questions. Let's see where we were at. So we talked about project-based billing. We covered that. Um, let's talk about some MEC updates. So there's two. One of them, which is really cool. Actually, I just want to see something real quick. Okay. So is now you can create vendors and customers inside a financial sense. So a lot of people that were using month end close, they maybe need to create a new vendor. They don't want to have to go to QBO to do it. Now you can do that directly inside Financial Sense. You can see this new customer vendor. So you can click that. You can decide whether it's a vendor or customer and then fill out all the information. And then now it will create it inside of Financial Sense, also inside of QBO. So again, just more of that live editing inside of the platform and not having to go to QBO to do that. Um, okay. Um, Another update to month and close is you can now request the vendor's email in the 1099 W-9 report. So if we go to the client's profile, let's pull up month and close because we don't have it in projects yet. But if you haven't seen this report yet, basically what it does, hold on. Basically, what it does is this is where you can manage your W-9 requests. So you can do your 1099 prep. So you can see all the basically we aggregate the total spend for your clients. Or we yeah for your clients as vendors. We aggregate the total spend for your clients as vendors and then show you which of the vendors hit the spend limit. So this is like 600 spend limit. It shows all the vendors that are over 600, and then you can then request uh, the W-9 from the vendors or the client. Um, so it makes so now you have an easy way to request the W-9s. You don't have to manage them all somewhere else, but also you can track who you're requesting the W-9s for. You can ask questions about the W-9s, and then you can push it and upload it to QBO. So it just streamlines the whole W-9 1099 prep process. So one of the key features though is actually being able to request the W-9 from the vendor. So you don't have to go through the client if you don't want to. You can also ask the client, right, for the W-9, or you can ask the vendor. But if you can't ask the vendor if you don't have the vendor's email. Now you can type in the vendor's email, but if you don't know it, we now added the ability to ask the client for the vendor's email instead of just the W-9. If you don't want to go through the client, but you still need the vendor's email, you can now easily just ask the client for the email. And once you get it, then you can ask the vendor. So just a little bit, that was something a lot of people wanted, you try to go through a client, it's like going to an extra person. They're busy. They don't get a response from the vendor. They get a response from the vendor. So it's just easier to ask them for the email if because they can find that easily, and then you can ask the vendor for the W-9, making that whole process a lot easier. Oh yeah, so Michelle, if the threshold's now $2,000, you can easily just change that. So now it's a $2,000 threshold. Um, Show how the 1099 question looks to the client. Um, are you saying you want to see how the 1099, like when requesting the email, how that looks? Is that what you're asking, Jane? So let's let me make sure. So let's see. Let's see if this works. Let's see if it shows it. Okay. So this is like what the message is going to look to the client, but let me see if I can actually do the portal piece. Might have to change the email to make sure it gets sent to me. There's a lot of fake emails on here. Let me get rid of this one. Um, okay. Let's see if this works. Okay. Let me pause this. Oh, Amanda just sent me a screenshot. This might be easier. Let me pull it up real quick. Let's see. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. So Amanda sent it to me. So basically, the client's going to get that email, and then when they go in and they're viewing all the vendor requests, they'll see this, and it highlights the add email, so they know, okay, this is what you need. So that's how that works. So they'll see, okay, they want me to upload the W-9 for this one. They can still upload the W-9 if they have it, but if they don't, it highlights, hey, input your email here. So that's what it looks like to the client inside the client portal. Hope that answers your question, Jane. Um, it's client by client, but we're gonna change like now that 2026 is $2,000, we'll update our system to where it defaults to that. Yeah, that makes sense. Um, okay. So those were the big new updates from for last month. So going back over them. Oh wait, there's one more. There is one more. I missed it. Let's see. Small. But again, this is like just a workflow flow improvement. So now inside of a project, you have the ability with your automations to remove all tags. So before it was like you can add or tag or remove a tag. But the thing is, if you had like three tags on the project, you'd have to have three automations to remove each tag. But now you can have an automation to where it removes all tags. So like for the last tag of the project, task of the project, maybe you want to remove all the tags before you close it out. There's a remove all tags option. So small change, but that was something that was being asked for a lot. Um, oops, let's see. Kanban is on the roadmap. Um, no ETA yet. Um, so let's talk about a lot of the updates I just covered, right? The ability to remove all tags from a as a task automation, bulk downloading project files, bulk downloading, moving, deleting client task files, project-based billing, the ability to set a team task section to recur or not recur, or the tasks within it to recur or not recur, and the ability to request vendors in the 1099 W9 prep report. So those are like what we just released. Let's now talk about um, what we're working on. Now, again, I want to clarify this. I cannot give ETAs because as we get into things, sometimes there's roadblocks, things take longer, unexpected things happen, things get pushed around for priority reasons. So we were giving ETAs and it was changing, and we just want to better manage expectations. So now going forward, I'm just going to be sharing what we're working on. Um, to give you guys some more visibility. So a lot of big things we've been wanting to do is get back to workflow, make a lot of improvements in a lot of the things that you guys want to see. So there's a lot of really great things planned, but this is what we're working on. So improvements to the automations. So for example, when you do an email automation, when you mark a test completed, it just asks, do you want to send this email? But what we want to do is have that email slide out so that you can edit the email live and then send it. It's like a good way to review the email before it gets sent, but it still automates the process. Bulk editing tasks inside of a project, the ability to expand and collapse all the tasks. So, like a good way to look at this is like when you're inside of a project, if you want to expand, collapse everything you can to just the section titles and then expand them all. Bulk editing, so basically a way to bulk edit like the due dates of tasks, the names of tasks, the assignees of tasks within a project. Um, let's see. We talked, this was mentioned. This we're not, we haven't actually started, like, we're not like actually developing yet, but we're talking about it. And we plan to release this soon, is the ability to view as client. So here on the client task, maybe there's an icon where you can click this and it shows you the client's view in the portal. So what they would see. For proposals. We want to do the same for month end close. Just give you full visibility on all client facing features. Like what is the client seeing? Not just so you can see what it's going to look like before you send it, but also like as a troubleshooting thing. Like a client's like, hey, I don't see this. You can go and see, okay, what are they seeing? Is something actually missing? Versus just having to take their word for it. Um, Another big one I want to do on proposals is when you finish a proposal, it creates a project. So like when a client signs a proposal, it'll create a project. Um, let's see. And then in that, like it could link the invoices to those projects as well as like a future thing. Another big one that we're actively working on is locking deliverables behind the paywall. Um, so basically, when you, let's say, complete a tax return, you can send the tax return to the client, but they will not be able to view it until they pay the invoice. So you don't have to chase them down. Um, next, let's see. Big one on billing. So we are working on providing faster payout times for ACH. A lot of people, don't like waiting 4 days to get payouts on ACH. We're working on next day payouts for ACH. So there's credit card, which is next day, but now you'll have ACH be next day as well. That's something we're working on developing. People want fast, cash flow is king. People want to get paid faster. Um, let's see. Okay, let's do it. Let's do a poll real quick because I'm curious about this. I just saw someone ask it. Do you want the expand slash collab feature and projects? Uh, okay, I'm gonna launch this. And I guess what I'm asking here is inside of this, when we have the expand and collapse, do you want it to also expand the subtasks? Or is it just show the tasks? And if there's subtasks, still keep, oh, okay, it's coming in. Like, so a great example is like, so basically in this situation, it would also expand this to show that when you hit the expand function. Let's just see. Okay. A lot of good votes coming in. I'm sending this to you, Amanda, so you have it in this poll because it's pretty clear what people want now. Okay. Um, it would be a button. It would, yeah, yeah. So you're just reading through these right now. Jane, we haven't figured out if it's going to cost extra fees for the next day. Ends up adding the ability to use tags at the task level. We haven't decided on using tags at the task level. It's still on the roadmap. If that's something you guys want, definitely go vote for it. On the next day, ACH, we haven't decided if there's going to be an increased fee for that. There's something we have to work through with the team, like the legal team is like, there is a level of risk with next day ACH for us because like if there's like someone comes in and starts an account, next day ACH wires like a bunch of money, we're covering that, right? Um, the float, and it does make us open to fraud, like to where like if someone was fraudulent, like we would be on the hook for that money. Um, it's no risk to you, but like for us, it's a risk. So there might be an associated fee with that. We haven't figured that out yet. have the option to do both. We wouldn't have the option to choose between all or none, like subtasks and tasks. Um, it's just because it complicates the view, but it, it- this is helpful. All right. Also, proposal designs. We've been getting a lot of feedback on proposals, so there's a lot of improvements we want to work on for proposals. So this isn't something we're actively working on now, but it's something we plan to start working on. And this is just making the overall design better for the setup, but also templated proposals where you can more easily manage and edit versus the way you do it now, which you can't like really save and manage templates for proposals in financial sense. Um, let's see. MEC improvements, supporting split transactions. So I know there, and especially in Canada, there's a lot of split transactions and they're not showing up on the MEC reports. So that is something we're working on supporting. The account reconciliation report, that should be done this month. And then the other vendor reports. So newly added vendors, duplicate vendors. We have these designed right now, and the team is starting development on those. Now the big one. Google Drive and OneDrive. I know we've been talking a lot about this for some time now, but we haven't released it publicly yet because we just want to make sure it works well, especially when it comes to the documents. We want to make sure the sync works, it doesn't have any issues. So we are taking our time with this one. This is still in beta. We're having a lot of firms beta test it right now. We found some issues with the sync. It's working for some firms, it's not working for others. So we're just working through those before we do the public release. But just to give you guys visibility on what this is going to do is it's going to allow you to match your clients to the folders. So inside a financial sense, if Google Drive or OneDrive, inside the file section, you will see this will be a two-way sync with your Google Drive and OneDrive. So all the documents that are in Google Drive and OneDrive will be in financial sense, and all the documents in they will mirror each other basically. So it syncs them between the two systems. Um, uh, when you add a client to Financial Sense, it'll create that client name as a folder in your Google Drive and OneDrive. Um, uh, you'll be basically backing up your documents to Google Drive and OneDrive. You will have a desktop sync with Google through Google Drive and OneDrive, so you can sync all the documents that are in Financial Sense to your desktop, which is great. And then, which will also, for the tax firms out there, allow you to print your tax returns to Financial Sense, which is great. So that is a big one. We're all hands on deck trying to work through the issues and make sure when we release it, it's reliable. You can depend on it, especially before the end of tax season, so you guys can use it as you start finishing up these tax returns. Um, Z, we do have retainers. So if you haven't looked, I know there's a help article on the retainers that we have in billing. And if there is something missing with the current retainer functionality, feel free to send that to the team. No integration with HubDoc. SharePoint, we haven't confirmed yet. I mean, OneDrive and SharePoint are both Microsoft, so there might be some ability to do both. But I haven't confirmed with the team yet. We're still focused on the OneDrive piece yet. Uh, We haven't started or planned a share file integration yet. I think it is on the feedback for Kenny in the roadmap tab. So if it is there, definitely go vote for that. Amanda, I don't know if you see Z. It sounds like they would like to be added to the beta test for Google Drive, OneDrive, so that'd be great. Okay, see, that makes sense. Yeah, if you could send that feedback to the team, whether through chat support or even here with Amanda right now. No status yet on the duplicate clients. Amanda, looks like there's Michelle and Andrew also are interested. Okay, perfect. You got it. Okay. Jim, what is the best process to fix duplicates today? I don't know. I think it's move all the data over to one of the clients and then delete the duplicate client right now. It's a manual process right now. There isn't like a merge function for the duplicate clients yet because it gets pretty complex. Um, all right. It looks like I got through all the questions. Was there anything else anyone had? Any questions? I hope this gives you guys, but while we wait, I hope this guys gives you a lot of visibility into a lot of what we've been releasing, what's coming next. If you guys have any other thoughts or feedback on those items, I'd love to hear them. It sounds like there's a lot of people that are interested in the Google Drive and OneDrive beta test. Amanda is capturing you guys here right now. We'll be reaching out to you guys to let you guys test that. The more people we have testing, the easier it'll be for us to work through everything. So I appreciate that. Okay, Lisa, looks like she wants to be added as well. All right. We'll capture all of this. Thank you all for joining us today. As always, it's great connecting with you, and I hope this was helpful. And we'll see you guys next month. Take care, everyone.